place right there. Do you understand? Now, do we have anybody here from Ireland? You're wicked Ireland members? I think you're from Canada. You've been playing both places, haven't you? You're wicked, mate. They flew him away to make this staircase because he was closer to the ticket booth, and I photographed him when they brought him back. And I listened to what the priest said about him. Do you understand? And he spoke highly about him, and he did a lot for the Irish. Do you understand? Now, do you see the kilt? I mean, do you see this man with the cane? That's George Cohen. Remember the song, Give My Regards to Broadway? That's George Cohen. Now, folks, you see where the ball drops up there where it says 2009? That's the ball that came down when we celebrated New Year's. Now, folks, you see the building with the antenna? That's Condé Nast. It's solar friendly. See the solar panels on top and the photovoltaic cell? That building heats its own water, gets rid of its own waste, and makes its own more energy. Look on the right. See those music video posters on the second floor? That used to be MTV, they're no more. Now look on the left, that's Toys R Us. See the giant Ferris wheel? And folks, my favorite place in Times Square is Good Morning America. This is it. Diane, Sawyer, Robin. See what this police car is? Good Morning America hosted the last Luther Vandross concert. Shortly after that, Luther Vandross lost his voice. And if you look over here, see this building with the says 1501 on the clock? This is the old Paramount Picture building for Paramount. Now look, you see the building with the green dome and the limestone behind the hot rod? Do you see it? Isn't it pretty? See that? Now do you know that this area used to be called Long Acre Square? Do you know who changed the name? The New York Times in 1904 when they moved up here. This was known as the Silk District. There were a lot of brothels here. The New York Times changed all that. Now guys, look to the right. See Madame Tussauds Wax Museum? And you see the New Victory Theater on the right if you like dance? Now I photographed Dance Cuba at the New Victory. Now folks, we're going to pull up here just for a moment. That's the new one, guys. See that building? That's the library. See that fountain? They built a tent over that fountain, and that's where we have Fashion Week. Now look. See the second floor on the right, the fashion photographs? You see that? Now, do you see the over the Midtown buffet, all the mannequins? Do you know that that's a fashion college called Boston? Now, folks, look to the left. See all the clothes? This is the Garment District. Now, did you know that New York City was the most fashion runway during Fashion Week to raise money for the victims of it? Now, guys, look. See all the fabrics over there on the second floor of a Burger King? Now let's put it this way. Let's say you couldn't find a dress, and your husband or boyfriend couldn't help you. You see that needle and button? Come on, wake up. Do you see it? Get a shot of it. There's a woman that comes to work with a laptop. And even if the designer's out of business, she's going to find that dress. Now listen, do you see the man at the sewing machine? There's a woman sculptor named Judith Weller who did that bronze sculpture of her grandfather, who was a Russian Jewish immigrant who worked in the Garment District. Now he might have been her muse or inspiration. Now guys, look. See the second floor, the two floors of fabrics again? And folks, look over here. Look at all the clothes on all these upper floors. Now, do you know that this is a main artery and other businesses compete to be on it? Do you know that the fashion world knows that the leases are cheaper down the side streets? There'll be more fashion houses. And won't a professional go anywhere to buy stuff? Now, guess what else? Do you know that there's a bigger fashion college further down called FIT? Now that means Fashion Institute of Technology. You guys look good. Look at them. Don't they look good? Now you ought to take their pictures, guys. Look at that. I mean, they look great. That's a good...
We had a wrestler once called the Master. Are you?
No,
he's coming for his camera. I don't like
I'm looking for the camera, by the way. But did you guys get that shot? Blew it. Don't mess up, because I'm going to give you a lot of good shots. Can you handle that? Sure now. All right.
God.
do I know where they live?
Do we not want
I don't go after them. I'm not a paparazzi.
There's a waistband.
Well, Beyonce and Morgana Merciless. Now, did you guys go around Central Park? All right, well, look, when we go back, if you're on another bus, there'll be two twin buildings. It's called Time Warner. Beyonce lives at one of those towers, not on the top floor.
Don't know.
Now, guys, listen. I want you to listen for a minute.
Watch for the Empire.
If you look to the left, you're going to see an antenna on top of the Empire State. Now, do you know that that antenna was not put up there until 1948? Now, let me wake you up. Are you ready for this? Remember when they shot the movie King Kong in 1933? There was no antenna on top of the Empire State. Now, if there was no antenna up there in 1933, then there was no antenna in 1931 when they finished it. Remember the airships, the Zeppelins? It was designed for them to land on top and let passengers come down in the elevators to the streets. But they had a problem with that. You see, every time they made an attempt to land one up there, the air currents were so strong that they couldn't balance them properly on top where people could safely get off. Now, when you see it, you know what they did? They made one last attempt. They put water in it. When it went up there, the water, it tilted up and all the water spilled out in a 4-block radius. Everybody trying to watch it happen got wet, and after that, they gave up the idea. Do you understand? But that was a brilliant idea, wasn't it? Now, so, remember the round part? That's where it ended, do you understand? And the antenna came in 1948. Now, by the way, folks, listen, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go right over to Madison Square Garden for a moment. Next stop is going to be in front of the Empire State. Are you guys ready for that? I mean, at Macy's in the Empire State. Now, listen, you might want to get this angle shot. When we turn, it's a nice angle. And guys, that's right. Now, the sun's in the way, guys. I'll give you a better shot later. Now, if we turn and the sun gets behind it, that'll be a nice shot. Do you understand? Now, keep looking at it. Now, by the way, folks, you see the 3 flagpoles? You see the eagle in front? Now, guys, keep looking at that for a minute. Maybe the sun's going to disappear. Now, do you see that eagle right there in front of the flagpoles? They rescued 4 eagles like that when they tore down Penn Station. That used to be behind this wall, behind that round money. Now, listen. 2 of those eagles sit in front of Madison Square Garden right now. Now, this is the garden, Madison Square Garden. It's the home of the New York Knicks, our basketball team, and thank God they got rid of Isaiah. I was ready to come down here and take care of that myself. It's also the home of the women's basketball team, the Liberty team, the New York Rangers, and the Westminster Dog Show, and the circus is here. Ringling Brothers, the Ballabelly Circus is here right now. Now listen, you see the building across the street with the columns? You see it? That's our post office now. That's where Penn Station used to be, and when they tore it down, they made the Landmark Society because they realized they made a mistake. So you know what they want to do now? They want to move Penn Station back to the old site. Now, do you see the white sign on the corner of Moynihan? They want to call it Moynihan Station because he was a senator who grew up in this community as a kid, and he lobbied for it to go back there. It's not supposed to. Now, listen. Do you know that this is the 4th site of Madison Square Garden? Now, did you know that the 3rd site was the hottest? There's some people already know that, so I hate to bore you. Now, guys, look to the right. You see the building that looks like a rocket with the green dome? Do you see it? That's where Marilyn Monroe, before that was built, sung Happy Birthday to John F. Kennedy. Now, he was a Gemini, and so am I. Now, what do you do with a Gemini? Don't they send us to outer space? And don't we give you the longest day of the year? You owe us a lot. Now, if we were to stray with that, they'd run us out of town. Now, let me tell you what happened in an office building decades later. That's where John F. Kennedy Jr. made a date with Princess Diana. Now, isn't that like Crosby, Stills, and Nash? Deja vu? Now, guess what a woman from Australia told me? She said if they both would have gotten married, maybe they'd both be living today. Now, she was right about that because we have an insurance company called New York Life. Their slogan reads, the company you keep is the company you can live with. Now, do you know that that site is where Clashers Clay was Clashers Clay? And did you know that that site stopped the riot in Belfast from continuing because when the prize fight broke out at that site, he stopped the riots in Belfast to go home and watch the fight that came from that site. Now, folks, when they got ready to build the Empire State, they first had to tear down the Waldorf Astoria. Do you know that they spent the first year of 29 tearing it down? Then after that, it took 18 months to finish the Empire State. Now, do you know that there's enough steel in the infrastructure of the Empire State to build a railroad system from New York City to Baltimore, Maryland, and back. Now, do you see the limestone that faces the outside of it? Do you know that that came from one quarry out of Bedford, Indiana? And Indiana is our limestone capital. Now, back in 1933, when they shot the movie King Kong, the New York Times found out that only a third of the Empire State was being used. Now, do you know that they ran the story? Now, when they ran the story, the headlines read, "The Empty Empire." Do you know that New Yorkers liked that nickname and they started to use it? Well, that made the owners furious. You know what they did to get rid of that stigma? They hired men to run up and down at night, cutting lights off and on to make the building look like it had activity in it. Now, here's the sad part. Back in 1945, by mistake, a B-25 bomber struck the 79th floor of the Empire State, killing 13 people and injuring 25. Now, it was the offices of the Catholic Relief Services. It happened at the end of the week. It left a 20-foot gouge in the side of the building. Ironically enough, they're able to have this building reopened and back in business the following Monday. Now, when that plane ran into it, it was carrying 2 bombs that luckily never went off. Now, folks, the Empire State is open from 9:30. Is open from 8 o'clock to after 2 o'clock midnight. Now, if the new owners had a brain, they'd be open for sunrise. That way, they're open from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 midnight. You can photograph the sun coming up over the sea in the morning. And then later in the day, you go up there on a clear day, and you photograph the city while it's well lit, and then like a king and queen, stand there and wait for the sun to go down in the west around mountains. That will be your shot. Now, is there anybody here going to Macy's now? We have a stop for you right now. So the ones that want to get off there can come down. And the next stop is going to be the Empire State. Is anybody going to the Empire now? We're going to stop for you. Now, the ones that want Macy's, you guys can come down. We had fun with you. And again, if anybody wants to leave tips for me in the driver, we share the tips. You can leave all the tips in that really blue bucket downstairs. Any questions, ask me downstairs. Now let me tell you what Macy's did, folks. Try to get a picture of it. Macy's made this a memorial for everyone that lost their lives on the Titanic. Now let me give you my personal take. While I think he made the women with capitals on their heads. You see, anytime you have a capital on a figure's head, don't you make it like a support system, a column? Well, wouldn't the people that stayed behind on the Titanic that let the younger people be rescued first, wouldn't there be a support system for them to be rescued? That's why I feel Macy's made the women like this. Now, do you notice that the women have been painted over twice? Whenever you paint over an artist,